All right, what's up, y'all? AWB, we back at it. I don't know what happened to my last live stream. Uh, I'm as soon as I get to talking about the trolls, now it's issues with the audio, and I guess the signal wasn't good or whatever. I don't know what was going on with the last video, um, but yeah, I'm glad the video or the portion of the video that I did for on Tat's channel, reviewing that video, that that section for the most part was pretty good. But then when it got to the section where I reviewed the troll who did a video on of my video and I called him out on the BS, that video didn't do so well. So I'm gonna re-record that video and just post it normally. But I really want to get that one out there because I anytime I see a troll channel do a video on my video, I'm gonna do a video of that video of I'm gonna do a video on that video just to kind of call out some of the BS that the troll channels do when they, you know, I just don't get the troll channels. How they make their entire existence on reviewing our content just to give their negative opinion on it. You know, absolutely crazy, but they do it and they get away with it. Well, they get not get away with it, they get views on it, which is crazy. But my main thing is I wonder, why do people not like the First Amendment so much? I don't understand why people think that, like, they say some of the worst stuff to people just holding the camera. Like, oh, you need to I hope that person gets locked up and they blah 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 blah. I hope they get arrested, and why would you want to waste resources on somebody exercising their First Amendment right? Even take away it's not the First Amendment right. Why would you wish so much bad on somebody who is just holding a camera and recording? That's crazy. Hold on one second, y'all. What's up? All right. Okay. All right. I'm working right now. It's okay. 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 AWB. What's up? What's up? 147. Yeah, but like I was saying, I don't understand why people would wish so much badness on somebody just walking around recording. It's not like they're fighting people. It's not like they stealing from somebody. It's not like they're insulting people. That's why I'm not a fan of the style where people go out there and they're insulting people. I'm not really the biggest fan of that. But also, I'm not against somebody matching the energy that they're presented with, even though it's always best to have a step above that. But sometimes you got to match it, because you know some sometimes people don't understand nothing. They don't understand reasonable and rational things. So sometimes you got to get ignorant along with them for them to understand that you're not going to go for the BS. Yeah, and that's what I will never understand, that why would you be okay with that? Who I just couldn't imagine. Like, it could be, what if that was what if that was somebody related to you on the other side of some BS, like the cops pulling somebody over and pulling them out the car and beating them, or it's so many scenarios, and people are against you recording those type of scenarios. Every smart person tells you need to record. Every lawyer usually says you need to record all interactions with police. Um, and even when you take it past recording the police, who, if it's not going to be us, who is the person holding the government accountable and monitoring what they're doing on a day-to-day basis? If you don't have somebody going in checking on and seeing what's up, and just having an eye on everything, and letting them know that people are watching them, people are paying attention. If you don't, if that doesn't happen, what happens is you have so much, things become tyrannical because they people start to people start to feel like they don't have to answer to the people anymore. And that's what we're dealing with right now. Public officials conducting their official duties, they feel like they don't have to answer to the people. They feel like they don't have to interact with the public. They feel like the public is they feel like they are superior or above the public, but it's actually the opposite, which I don't know how so many different places don't realize that, or it seems like they forget that. But I just did a visit recently. Well, I just posted a video recently of me doing going there to document the building and document what's going on. Um, this was in Havendale, and y'all, if you go back and you watch that video, you'll see that the PIO uh, was they didn't have any problem, with a surprise visit to go check out and see what's going on, there in that city hall. So it's a stark difference between some some public buildings and city halls and are open, transparent, and ready for the people to just and ready to serve the people. Then you have the opposite of that, was everything is locked down. They don't want you to walk. They don't want you filming. It just seems like they're hiding something. It seems like something is going up. It's something is going on there, and I feel like something is going on if somebody is so if somebody is that scared of a camera, that something they don't want you to see something. That's all it is. That can only be that's the only reasonable explanation. For being afraid of the camera, you don't want somebody to see it. Arbandale, or one Haven. I'm talking about the one that was in Havendale, and it's down South Florida, like Miami area. I done told her. Hey, okay, I'm working right now. Okay, I'll see you. All right, I'll see you soon. My bad, y'all. Let me hold on. But yeah, Mike, what's up? Tommy V, what's up? Exactly, that training and treat with the stain. Probably. Hold on. Let me highlight this. Yeah, using expression like in your face, and they're like 3 feet away. That's another thing with the first. That's another thing when we go into these buildings. People make themselves. People make themselves victims. They said, like I was watching a video and they said we were victimizing people and doing this. People make themselves a victim. They jump in front of the camera. They walk up all the way up to the camera, jump in front of the camera, and then say, "Get that camera out my face." Like, I don't know what type of psycho mindset or psycho like, you got to be insane to walk up to a camera, make yourself make yourself a scene or a people make themselves a part of the story. They want to. It's like they want to be a part of the story, but they try to act like they don't want to be. It's like the people who want attention, but they try to act like they don't want the attention. So they like get that camera on my face, and they just want to make a scene, but they really just want you to show them acting out like that. It's a weird thing that I think you know we deal with, because if you really don't want to be recorded or you don't want to be on camera, you're gonna do your best to either ask that person nicely, like you go to that person, as a human being, and you say, hey, um, can you, like, I know you got me on camera, can you like blur my face out or something? I'm asking you, not, hey, delete that. You need to blah 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 blah. That ain't how you get your way with. You don't you're not gonna be able to just tell people what to do like that. So especially when somebody's exercising their right. So if somebody, and this is what happened with me when I went to the medical examiner's office, and it was a family in there that was talking to. It was a family in there talking to one of the staff in that office. I think she the supervisor at that time, I think. So instead of taking that family into a private area, discussing their private matters, this supervisor is sitting there, having, uh I'm gonna say, a pretty personal conversation in the public lobby, you know. But I even told, but eventually, it blew up. Y'all go watch that medical is tyrannical medical examiner. It's the name of the video if you want to see it. But what happened in this video? Complete ty- Complete tyrant supervisor was telling me to get out, all type of stuff. But anyway, in the midst of this family was there, and this family, was asking me what I was doing, and can I not, place them in the video. At first I was like, I'm gonna blur your all faces out, and you don't have to worry about that. And then she asked me, she's like, no, can you have us completely out the video? I thought about it. I'm like, I don't have to completely take them out the video and for people not to know them or whatever. But I still ended up taking them pretty much majority out of that video. Um, Even though that some of the scenes, some of the parts of that video were like portions that should have been in there, but since that family, their faces and everything were in that portion, I decided to take that portion out, and you know, just to be, a decent person. Because if somebody comes to me, you know, humbly and asks me to not have them in the video or something like that, I'm not gonna still continue to put them in the video. That's just not how I operate, even though, it's my right to do it. Where we at, y'all? Patricia, what's up? Cameras everywhere, what's up? What's up? Daryl, what's up? They want to be seen, heard, and all auditors can do is take notes and be peaceful. Yeah, man. Real Jingy, FAQ. What would audits? What would audio audits sound like? Probably the same things would be exposed. Governments don't magically become assholes only when the camera is on. The same behavior will likely be captured. Yeah, that's the thing about it. One of the main reasons I started recording is because I didn't like the attitudes and the way that people would treat, uh whether it be customers, you know, or the public, in public business and private business. So I wanted to start recording everything, and you never know what could, happen in any type of situation. What's up? Um, no, not right now. All right. Yeah. No, I'm okay. Just get what you if you're hungry, just get what you want to eat. All right, I gotta get back to it. All right. All right. I bet y'all. I think it's about controlling the narrative, then lying to do it. Yeah, I just don't. How did people get like this? Like, you know, to me, it's real sad. It's real sad that the only way you feel good about yourself is by being tyrannical over like or try by you bullying somebody else or feeling like you got power over somebody else or whatever. How is that the only way that you feel fulfilled, or the fact that you want attention so bad that you don't care what type of attention it is? You just, you know, just people go around just wanting to have a bad day, or they have a bad day and they want you to have a bad day as well, or they just don't want to see you doing something that you want to do just just because they don't like it. It's it's a weird dynamic that that's going on out here. What's up Potion? But yeah, so that's what it is. I just don't understand how people can be so against the First Amendment. It makes why is why does the camera make people jump out their skin the way they do? And the only way that all you're doing is holding up a mirror, and people know that when it's on camera, it's on camera. You can't you can't go back and lie later. You can't go back and no. It's one take. It's one take. It's live action. That you are who you are, and you showing it. You know, and they try to act like it's only the camera. It can't only be the camera because everybody is on camera everywhere. It doesn't. I just don't understand it. If you are doing what you if you are being an upstanding person, what does it matter? An upstanding person in public. For one, if you're in public, know that you're in public. Don't do nothing private in public. And if you want to have a private life or a private identity, then you need to create your own privacy. Like if you don't want somebody to see who you are in public, well, how about wearing some shades, a mask, and a hat? Nobody knows who you are with that, and you conduct your business, whatever. But to expect somebody not to be able to exercise their rights by looking at you, or by thinking you have some type of privacy in public, is absolutely crazy. And for people to think that you're that me or anybody else with a camera recording in public is victimizing somebody out in public just because they're recording, and that person happens to be in the frame. Like it's absolutely ridiculous, the mindset that goes with people who oppose what we do in exercising our First Amendment. I don't even just you know if you go past it being an audit, you really think about it, all we're doing is going around documenting our experience in life, and we're just picking certain places that would it would be, we're picking certain places that, for one, we're supposed to do it at. And that's what people get wrong. That's what a lot of people eh, get wrong, or I guess they don't understand. We are supposed to go into government buildings and these government places, federal buildings. We are supposed to go check on them. We're supposed to go see what's going on. It's not just at the council meetings or the city meetings, or no, it, on a day-to-day basis, we should, somebody needs to check on what's going on in these offices. And if we don't, and if we allow them to just monitor themselves, you basically, you asking for them to be tyrannical. I spoke to this yesterday. Hold on. I have a few words that completely define most examples of the government. Word that includes malfeasance, malfeasance, non feasance, and obscuritarianism. I never seen those words ever. People spoke about they are actively concealing their lack of utility in into society. It's crazy, and I don't understand the people who are not only against what we do but disrespectful too. Like, what happened to just having a difference of opinion, and being able to just have that without disrespecting the other person? It just goes to show how ignorant the majority of citizens are about what the founding documents of the country they live and actually say and mean. Yes, we the people, we are free, are we not? We're supposed to be, but it's like you free, but only when we want you to be free, and you kind of free. You that's land is land of the kind of free. You kind of free, yeah. It's a lot of stuff you can do, and but if you go to trying to record what's really going on out here, now it's a problem. Yeah, it's a weird thing. They just I always been a person that you know I only respect who respects me. If you don't respect me, then you're not gonna get respect from me. Like you know, I wasn't ever really. I had to learn to be a little bit more patient with people, um, because I was a very no nonsense person. I would I'm that way because I always usually approach people with you know gen- general respect, because I thought that's just how people are supposed to be. But then I realized that everybody is not going to have that same mindset, or that same, I guess, upbringing. And you know it, I just don't understand how people can be just so disrespectful, not knowing who you talking to. you know right. Yeah, man, I'm trying to do that more often. Uh, but yeah, it's you know, I never would have thought that picking up a camera, hitting record, and walking into a city hall would turn into, or any public building, the library, the post office. I never would have thought that you will see so much is revealed, and it's so much revealed. But I'm sure everybody been to a public building, and they were not the people there were rude and everything. But what could you do about it? You couldn't. You can try to make a complaint, but they're gonna just act like nothing happened. They're gonna act, you know, if you don't have that objective record, then you lost pretty much already, because the footage that if they got footage that makes them look bad, they're gonna make it really hard for you to get. So you need to have your own objective record, and they don't want you to have it. So you can they know that they have a bad attitude, or they know that they're not treating people well. So when you bring out the camera, they act even more, they're really just acting like themselves, but now it's on camera, and it won't be erased, and now it's up for everybody to see. But and now they mad at you for doing that, instead of just changing their behavior, instead of just changing their bad behavior and being on their best behavior. Why wouldn't you get on camera and be on your best behavior? Why would you act out the worst on camera and then say that's not really you, or try to make excuses for it? You know, that's why I don't get a lot of it. And the reason I really don't get the troll channels and all of the anti auditing channels, if you go and you analyze these anti auditing channels, most of the time they don't show their face, like I said in the last video. And if they do show their face, they don't look like happy people. They look like miserable, chaotic, tormented souls. And again, that's why I can never take troll channels serious. But it's even worse, because all they make their whole existence on our content, and just talking bad about our content. Like, if you go the amount of videos they create off our videos, and they're still like, it's insane. How could you how do they justify that and live with themselves doing that? Like, how could you live with yourself? But again, I believe that all of them are tormented souls. Just like Frauded Wrangler is a tormented soul. He is terrible. He hates himself, so he spews hate to other people, which is really a projection of his self-hate. I believe that's what's going on there. Then he lied and all type of stuff. You can't I can't take people like that serious, you know. It's terrible. Like I said before, these are the same people who felt like, you know, it was okay to tell certain groups of people they weren't they weren't included, or they can't come, they couldn't come into the front door, they got to go around the back. Same people who didn't want, you know they wanted separate water fountains. And it's it's crazy, man. You just look back, the people, the trolls now are the people back in the day who were opposed to people having civil rights. Though it's the same, it's the same type of, they're the same people just in this generation. Biscuits and gravy. What's up, Katie? What's up? Did I say what's up to Big K in the building? What's up? What's up, y'all? Yeah, I've been talking for a while. What y'all, y'all talk to me. What y'all think about this? Why do y'all feel like people are so against the First Amendment? And, and take it out of, what if it's not the First Amendment? Why are people so against people recording in public buildings, in public spaces? Now it's a big debate on what's public and what's not public. But it was public when I didn't have my camera. You didn't have no problem with me walking in the lobby without my camera. When you had your bad attitude and you was talking to people crazy. It was okay if I didn't have a camera then, but I was in that lobby. Now it's the issue if I'm in the lobby recording your bad behavior. Come on now. Biscuit and gravy or groovy. Yeah, man, it's just the First Amendment. Why people don't like it? Yeah, it's something. Yep. That's a good one. Stockholm syndrome. That's really what it seems like. Actually, you have to take them seriously so that they can prepare for the extreme swings that could come. Exactly. You got to. Every time I go in there, uh, thinking like, okay, maybe this time they're gonna be reasonable. I'm not doing anything crazy. He gets absolutely insane. And another reason I love doing this because you start to realize that so many of their systems are flawed, the processes are flawed, policies are flawed, and a lot of times it takes somebody asking certain questions for anybody to even think. Like, oh, like I asked I went into this one city hall, and I was talking to them, and I asked them like, what would be the process for somebody to just get a tour or check out, see what's going on in City Hall. They didn't even know the process. They would say that's a good question. Nobody ever asked that question before. To my, I, I'm thinking, wow, it's crazy that nobody has ever asked a question like this. But a lot of times in these certain towns, the policies and procedures have never been challenged, never been questioned, nothing. Which if you're going to be the first person to challenge it, or the first person in the wild to challenge it, you know, they don't sometimes people they don't know how to take that. Right. I believe that trickle down effect. Believe me, they still take issue with you coming in without a camera too. Exactly, Fosun. And that's the thing. They have an issue. The issue when it's not the camera, now they want you to surrender your Fourth Amendment. So they don't want you to have your First Amendment. They don't want you, and they want you to give up your Fourth Amendment. So they want to know everything about you, but they don't want you recording and documenting your experience there with them, which is it's crazy. They shake you down for your ID and then don't even want you there expressing yourself. These movements, secrecy and silence. A camera puts light on the movement of thieves. This this is why it is opposed. FAQ to madness on point and intentionally flawed. I'm definitely gonna say this. That's what I was saying. I said on a comment. I forgot where I commented made this comment, but what did I say? I was saying that it's either everybody there is really dumb or a couple is or a few people are really really smart in that situation, and then if you really know what's up, then it's really both. You know, I doubt the people that are really moving things in in the world. I doubt they're not dumb, but the system everything you know in the system appears dumb because it's dumb for the people it doesn't serve, but it's smart for the people. It's really effective for the people it does serve, which is not the public, which is not us. The system is everything in the government is supposed to serve the people, but we see that it's flipped upside down and it doesn't. It does the exact opposite. And that's not by accident. That's by calculated steps and measures to get people to forget that you know we should be at the top of that chart. The question comes to mind: why does the annoyance of being accountable for themselves turn their perception into a risk for them, therefore a confrontation? Exactly. I never, you know, I just don't understand how somebody could be, man, just do the right thing and you wouldn't have nothing to worry about. It's my mindset. You know, it seems like the ones that hate our First Amendment don't speak good English. Yeah, a lot of times, yeah, when they hire these security guards from wherever, but they love being able to tell, you know, it's crazy that somebody from another country can come into a country and take a position in the government and feel like they are superior to the people who were originally born in that country. You know, it's that's a crazy thing. They really feel like you know exactly. Let's I know we've been talking for a while. I just want to just I guess express my thoughts on that because I just I would never understand that mindset. I would never go back and forth with trolls in the comment section ever again, trying to debate them when they have some crazy straw man arguments, some weird stuff. They just make up any and everything just to get attention, or they're doing it to get people in who watch the video to uh I guess not support or whatever. uh but I don't know why they think people can't think for themselves. I don't think like that. I think that most people will see the obvious. you know People got common sense. People know right from wrong. Even if they have even if they don't have the knowledge of knowing about their rights and everything, people can read a situation and know what's right and wrong in that situation. The way that these people approach me and come at me, you can tell that right or wrong, this person was wrong for acting that way. And then that has people looking like, well, why are they acting like that with him when he's not really doing anything. He's not trying to bother people. He's not being aggressive. He's not yelling at people. He's not even insulting people, even though they're insulting him. Why are they doing this? Why is this going on? And then they start to realize that they're tyrannical, that egotistic. Some people are psychopaths. It's you know a lot of wickedness out there, and a lot of hate for transparency. Well, then they realize, then you start thinking, what are they hiding? It has to be something that triggered them like that. What are they hiding? It's a costly bad thing. And if we exercise our right, they did not they did that to oppress the people, so they continue to their destructive evil agendas. Daryl, I agree with you, man. You have to ignore and block them from your channel. Katie, the reason I don't block them is because they help get the story out to more people. And I feel like if if 10 people see one of my videos, at le- 8 or 9 people are gonna agree with my stance in that video versus the 1 or 2 people who are gonna be against it. So trolls, like, they help the algorithm. They help get the story out. And I don't know what they'll try to attack me personally and think that I'm gonna take their online insult serious when I'm not that. you I'm a real type of person. You're not gonna be able to get to me through a YouTube comment, like try to affect my mood, feelings, none of that. You're not gonna get it through a YouTube comment from a profile that only been made the same year with no picture, no nothing, or you have it where it's a person that looks crazy and, like, you know, I would never be bothered by an insult by a person that I would never want to be. Like, if if Florida Wrangler did a video on my video and was insulting me, I wouldn't care nothing about what he's saying, because nobody wants to be him. Yeah, man. Have you some creative city managers? Have you seen the city managers and the mayors? They don't bother to know their jobs, and they weaponize their position with nepotisms and sweetheart deals. It's always follow the money. Exactly. And that's why I always ask for the CAFR, because when you look at that financial balance sheet and you see where the money is going, you realize that most of the time the money is not going to important stuff. It's going into something that has a name that's kind of vague, you know, such and such fund or something like that. or you can see that a lot of it goes into the police department. A lot of it goes into, rarely does it go into building the city up, helping out the homeless or anything like that, or just the school systems. Like it's crazy. There's a head stream that went after you a few days ago. Unfortunately, some drama happened and they got slapped pretty hard. Yeah, man. Hey, Biscuits, what's the stream about, me or just and they were just anti-auditors in general? People, they're not trolls that make videos. They're not gonna like uh when they do videos on me, because I'm gonna call you out. You know, I don't have this little narrative that they keep trying to paint us as having. You know, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm, it's crazy. Like, and I wish they would get on the panel with me so I can really see, you know, really see where their mind at. You know, I hate when people try to act like they're smarter or superior than somebody else. Who? When was this? Whose channel was it on? Biscuits and Gravy. We could check that out. See what they had going on. They love to say, stop race baiting, blah, 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 blah. Everybody who is on my channel knows that. Come on now. Why are you playing victim? When do y'all ever see me play victim? I just tell what it is, and that's what it is. I'm not no woe is me type of person. It's like, if you just have you got a victim, you can't be a victim, blah 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 blah. The Heads and Racial. I'm gonna check that out. What's up, Sean? Tayo. I don't know if I said what's up to Linda, but Linda in the chat. What's up, Linda? They sent the speech. Yeah, man. FAQ dropped the ones. Why y'all put a one in the chat? I'm trying to keep up with it. They made fun of auditors. Exactly. And that's the thing. How no, I don't know. I think you gotta be a weak person to like really truly disrespect somebody or talk so disrespectful over the internet. No real person is disrespecting somebody over the internet like that. Most people not doing that. Yeah. Cognitive dissonance as strong a drug is as strong as drugs. So people believe anything except what's in their face. Exactly. And that's the thing. I'm always willing to learn and question things. You know, I don't just I don't just accept, okay, it's this way. Well, that's why I can say watching some frauditor channels, I actually learned from it because it showed me the way that I don't want to conduct myself, because you can see where people can pull that and make it, and blow it up and make it something that is not. Yeah. Listen to from the kitchen. The ones. All right. Let me get this video started. I'm gonna try to check out that video that Biscuits and Gravy was talking about. But this video is strictly about the First Amendment and how they're restricting it in the national parks. I thought somebody sent me this video and I thought it was really informative. So this is from Truth Stream Media. And it's the First Amendment is under attack in our national parks. Oh snap! Hold on, y'all. Oh, excuse me.
Today is a sad day for Yankee in the South. We're no longer going to be able to film within the boundaries of any national park.
If a tree falls in a forest, you know how it goes. We've been hard at work on our big film, which has felt so difficult to stay focused on. Important, yet.
Yeah. See that I wanna mention this. So back when I grew up as a kid, it wasn't such thing as bullying. Maybe it was bullying. It wasn't like cyberbullying, and if you bully, you just gotta defend yourself pretty much. Now everybody caters to the people who are bullied or whatever. But roasting somebody or somebody, you're gonna be made fun of at some point in your life, and usually it's that friends, if your friends are gonna make fun of you, you're gonna make fun of your friends. You do it with family members and all of this, but it's not done in a malicious way. There's roasting and throwing shots at people for fun versus being downright disrespectful and wicked about it. That's a whole different thing.
Yet mundane parts of our everyday lives continue to drag on our attentions. This past month, for instance, we had to move again. It's part of life, but it's very stressful and time consuming, and it occupied us without pay in a big way. But we're getting ready to really start putting together our next big film project, and we're doing some 8mm filming for it, something we could use your support on. I've been reading up on the technicals and best practices, and that's about the time that I fell into this rabbit hole about photography. Point being, I was lost in a rabbit hole about photography, not looking into anything political, not dealing with controversy of XYZ issue, nothing that should even be controversial. And yet, a series of videos about people warning about, complaining about, lamenting a new decision to interpret some vague U.S. codes about protected lands as a reason to police filming in national parks and other federal wilderness lands, employing a ridiculous policy to target small-time filmmakers after the fact and require a permit, impose a fine if that permit isn't there, for any images or video that are monetized.
Anything. Down to the smallest YouTuber, like anything.
Maybe they didn't even know they were going to monetize them. Maybe they didn't know about the permitting process, but they are, at least in some cases, going after individual people with cameras in parks, one or two people, filming maybe even without a tripod.
That's what they've been doing. They've been coming after just random people. I mean, if you've gone to a national park anytime recently, everybody that you see has a phone. People are filming all the time, but they're not coming after major productions. They're coming after random bloggers on YouTube now with this licensing thing.
Yeah, and big film productions, they have people specifically to deal with permits and licenses, and that's just part of their standard deal. But individuals are individuals. They don't have a support team. Yet, as of October 2022, federal law has now begun treating any filming of monetized footage as a permit-required full-scale production. Even if a single person is filming landscapes with an iPhone, there's just no distinction of scale, no context, and just no common sense with this application. And of course, it's chilling.
Today is a sad day for Yankee in the South. We're no longer going to be able to film within the boundaries of any national park, not just the Great Smoky Mountains. Well, you might say, Will, just pull a permit. It is not that easy. You got to pay $100 application fee. And then if you get accepted, you have up to 2 hours to film. And possibly a ranger will have to follow you around at $50+ an hour, depending on each individual national park they set up. Also, here's another kicker. You got to have an insurance policy for $1 million.
Wow.
Payable to the national park, which pretty much takes the little vlogger out. We just couldn't do it. We wouldn't be able to afford it.
Last year, we published a video called Why We Don't Visit National Parks. We explained how we had been fined over $1,000 for filming 2 videos in national parks. But when it really became frustrating was the first time I ever tried to fill out an application to obtain a commercial filming permit. As YouTubers who carry around the same type of camera equipment as any tourist would, we were being asked to fill out a permit just like we were filming a major motion picture. They wanted to know how many animals we were bringing on set, if we had any weapons. Plus, you would have to give them an exact itinerary of your trip, what you would be filming, then wait weeks for approval. And if you were lucky and you received a permit, the fees weren't cheap. Plus, without a big production team, we just didn't have the bandwidth to go through a major permitting process every time we wanted to make a video.
They're not just coming after individuals with cell phones blogging on YouTube. They're now fining people after the fact. They're going and fining people for this because they didn't get a license weeks in advance to go film a tree on some trail somewhere and show it to people. Over $1,000, right? If you didn't get this permit weeks in advance to say you're going to film some section of a trail in a national park and put it in your video.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause this, y'all. Hey, if Biscuits and Gravy is still on here, I want to ask you: is this the channel you was talking about? And if so, which stream are we talking about? I'm gonna go back to that video because I feel like it's important, but I also want to see this video that he said they were talking about me. So if Biscuits and Gravy is still on here, go which video are we looking at? All right, Daryl, take care, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, y'all give me a second, see if Biscuits and Gravy still on here. I don't see him in the chat anymore. He was telling me they were doing a live stream about me a couple days ago. All right, I guess we're gonna go. We're just gonna go back to that video since I don't see Biscuits.
Video. Which people don't make. It's not like people are making thousands of dollars on some of these videos. They might make 25 cents on a video if they put an ad on it.
We say Your land is our land.
It's a great distance. There's a lot of costs involved in the first place. This isn't a profit scheme. This isn't like the next big idea to make a quick buck.
We're a couple of people out filming. This law never was intended to address that. Laws for permitting on public lands for filming were always meant to deal with large groups of people. So 2015 rolls around, all of a sudden the iPhone's out, everybody's changing the way they behave. I mean, everybody's literally filming everything they do and taking a photo of it while they're on public lands. So yeah, it's super frustrating.
This is people trying to remember to go out and enjoy nature
and share it with other people.
Whether they just enforce a few times or whether it's happening all over the place, whether they
if y'all don't know what this scene is from, this scene that they're showing right now is from the movie called They Live, I believe. And you know, if you've seen the movie, you know that it was about this regular guy who he got these shades and he put on the shades, and once he put on the shades, he was actually able to see what was going on. He was able to see the real that was going on and the programming that was happening all around him. You know, he was able to see the people or the aliens or whatever you want to call them. He was able to see through the disguise of the human body. You know, he was able to really see what was going on with people.
They leave most people alone, or whether they're just targeting certain high-profile cases. This ill-begotten policy isn't about catching people, which even that is silly, but catching people on location.
So if y'all ever get a chance, check out They Live. That's the name of the movie. It's really good about, you know, just society in general and, you know, what's going on.
And asking if they have the permit, but instead, this is all after the fact. This is online. They're just flagging footage.
So they're going around to these social media networks and places like YouTube, and they're trolling through people's content to see, did you film in a park? And did you have a license? And if...
What a waste. They're going through people's social medias from weeks, years back to see if they got a clip of a tree in the video, and they want to charge them a fine for that. How much of a bottom feeder? Like, what?
If after the fact you didn't, then they're sending out fines to people. It's regular random people filming things on their little channel or whatever, and they're going after the fact after those people.
People working for government agencies or the park service, maybe they thought they're...
How do you feel like you can police outside and put a fine on? How do you feel like you can find somebody for taking pictures outside? Like, you have put a price tag on outside? Like, that's crazy.
They were going to sign up to make sure that there weren't too many, you know, forest fires or...
I'm going to be a park ranger so I can troll social media and find people for enjoying the park.
I can't remember for sure just what it was that made me decide to become a forester. I guess it was a lot of things. At first, maybe, a long time ago, it was just love of the outdoors. The sound of the wind in the trees. The smell of the pines, damp with morning dew.
But now, it's getting them unlicensed photographers. Yeehaw!
So this language is on nps.gov. Federal law requires a permit for all commercial filming activity, no matter the size of the crew or the type of the equipment. This includes individuals or small groups that don't use much equipment but generate revenue by posting footage on websites such as YouTube and TikTok. Under federal law, all commercial filming that occurs within a unit of the national park system requires a permit. So what is commercial filming? That's part of the issue. The permits that have existed for decades are clearly set up for Hollywood crews, for instance, that might be operating on a scale big enough to shut down entire tourist attractions, block roads, use electricity at park facilities. Maybe they're even bringing in horses, cattle, or exotic animals to film major scenes in parklands, or maybe they're otherwise interfering with the normal park experience because dozens or even hundreds of people on a production crew would be filming on a large scale. In such scenarios, permits typically accompany proof of insurance policies, and there's people to work with that process. I mean, that makes sense. And the NPS.gov site does say the primary focus of the NPS, however, is on commercial filming that has the potential to impact park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas.
Which, if that was true, would make sense too.
Yeah. And they say the examples of that are productions that use substantial equipment, sets, lighting, production crews exceeding 5 people, filming in closed areas, et cetera, that would conflict with other visitors. I mean, it basically makes sense up to a reasonable point. But why then are they interpreting commercial filming as basically anything that's on YouTube, where, by the way, YouTube itself can choose to monetize it without the user having anything to do with that decision?
All happens all the time.
But in footage licensing, just for example, there's a major difference between the usage rights of commercial versus editorial content. A clip might be used in a documentary as editorial content, but it's not the marquee that sells the documentary. It's not the image that the title's associated. The filmmakers aren't suggesting an ownership of the idea, right? It's just part of the content of a documentary. The commercial content for advertising and promotional purposes, like, say, hypothetically, a major insurance company exploiting the real Statue of Liberty location to associate with its brand.
Fresh Dairy Products presents
them trying to charge people for taking pictures outside is insane. That's insane. The fact that they are actually going after people for this is
Annie Oakley in a national park.
Or maybe we could imagine a food brand associating the feel-good setting of a famous national park with its classic American image experience, cooking hot dogs or something.
Frank, my lawyer just texted. Somehow I got reception. Anyway, it's done. I think it's time that we told them we won't be together anymore.
Can't we just give them one more memory? Something they can cherish before it all fell apart? Don't we sort of owe them that?
Sure, Frank. Sure. That'll be fine.
Or another company touting its environmentally friendly check marks next to a pristine waterfall in a park, something like that.
Mommy, are we almost there? Stop it. I'm really excited. Stop it. I gotta go potty.
You gotta be kidding me.
And they want to charge people for that. Like, I wonder what is the penalty for not paying them for that? Like, how are they gonna? What's the penalty?
Hurry up! Let's go! Are we there yet?
Turn right at the next exit.
Why settle for yet another pee-stained toilet in some hellhole gas station 264 miles from nowhere? We clean our toilets. All 67 of them. Buc-ee's.
And the NPS.gov says commercial filming may include the advertisement of a product or service or the use of actors, models, sets, or props. And It's not that those are good or bad associations, but that's part of commercial filming. It's not what individuals blogging on YouTube are doing almost at all, or certainly not the vast majority of time. So the issue is, why are individuals being sought after here? That's where permitting for commercial filming, when commercial filming is defined as including anything that's monetized anywhere online, becomes completely ridiculous instead of sort of rational. They're trolling social media.
It's awful.
And, you know, all these agencies are involved now. It's a complex of them, and AI systems are involved.
At the time, they lacked both kind of the funding and the legal authorization. We were able to pull together pretty quickly a project between these 4 different institutions to try to fill the gap of the things that the government cannot do themselves. A project between these 4 different institutions to try to fill the gap of the things that the government cannot do themselves.
And now the same type of activity happening in the context of people going for a walk, filming it and posting it on YouTube, looking at a mountain or a waterfall.
And sharing that online.
Whatever.
It's unbelievable.
It must not happen here. But liberty survives only for those who are wise enough and strong enough to preserve it.
That's what I was thinking
most
about.
Of these park visitors, including the YouTube bloggers, probably have no clue about the requirements in the first place. I know that we certainly didn't.
There's no sign at the front gate that says, "Are you planning to film this for your YouTube channel?"
Alert! Alert! Alert!
Better make sure you applied for a permit weeks ago and we took the time to approve you. Otherwise...
Alert! Alert! Alert!
How far in advance are you supposed to plan this stuff?
Some laborious Brazil-like application that has questions obviously aimed at large film crews for big budget films and not just people with a cell phone going in the woods.
And the de facto violation of the First Amendment that's involved here is just really unsettling. And that's what played out in the case that kind of got this whole situation rolling. There was an indie micro budget filmmaker named Gordy Price. I haven't seen his film. I saw some stills of it. It looks like he and his buddies are just out there filming what they can. Some kind of ghost story with cheesy makeup.
Here I am at Crawford Road, shooting some preliminary footage for the Crawford movie. There's the bridge.
He filmed somewhere on National Park Service land in Yorktown where there was a major Revolutionary War battle without obtaining a permit or paying the fee. And then when Gordy Price screened his film, Crawford Road, that came out sometime in 2018, he was cited and fined after the fact, after he screened his film publicly. And subsequently, a First Amendment lawyer took up his case, sued the government on his behalf, and initially won the case as of January 2021. And the presiding judge in that case, the U.S. District Court Judge Colleen Kolar-Cotelli, declared that the Park Service citation was unconstitutional and rolled back these commercial filming requirements for parks. Judge Kolar-Cotelli wrote, quote, "Mr. Price's filmmaking at these parks constitutes a form of expressive speech protected by the First Amendment," adding that the creation of a film must also fall within the ambit of the First Amendment's protection of freedom of expression. To find otherwise would be artificially to disconnect an integral piece of the expressive process of filmmaking. Totally agree. Seems like common sense.
It seems so obvious.
But the next year, the government appealed the case. And right there, isn't that sort of telling just in of itself? What motivated the government to appeal this process?
Yeah, why are they doing that?
Why is the Parks Service or the agencies above them, why are they even interested in hounding this issue in the first place anyway? Why wouldn't they just be satisfied with an affirmation of the First Amendment, totally in spirit of the parks themselves and what's going on? But the government appealed the case, and the next year won their appeal, and there was a reversal in the D.C. District Court and a 2-1 decision with one of the judges dissenting for obvious reasons.
It's unbelievable.
And basically, the effect of the decision was not just to dissuade filming without a permit, but to criminalize the lack of a permit under the guise of commercial filming restrictions. The senior circuit judge in this decision, Douglas Ginsburg, wrote, "We hold that the regulation of filmmaking on government-controlled property is subject only to a reasonableness standard, even when the filmmaking is conducted in a public forum. Because the permit and fee requirements are reasonable, we reverse the order of the district court." For individuals from the normal strata of society, average citizens, it's not that reasonable. You show up to a park and film because frankly, that's been the American tradition since the advent of public parks.
That scenery is
is so doggone beautiful, we just had to stop for a few days and soak it up.
We can capture wind and wave and bring them home with us on canvas. Those without the artist's touch can still capture nature's beauty the simple way.
But most of the time, she kept busy with her painting.
And there's no information, there's no like sign off, like just let us know you're going to be filming.
There's nothing to tell you that this is even going on at all.
As taxpayers, America belongs to them too. Public property, which might be considered our own, wouldn't it be a shock to find closed signs on public recreation areas? While this extreme situation hopefully will never happen,
We just went to a bunch of parks last year. There was no information about this that was publicly available that you would know this at all.
It's a bureaucratic red tape buried on a website. It's obscure and it takes weeks and weeks in advance. Judge David Tittel made several points in his dissenting opinion about this decision that illustrates how little sense the idea of reasonable permits makes in the real-world context of activities. Writing in part, quote, "Before standing outside Yosemite National Park Visitors Center using a cell phone to record commentary on our national parks that will air on an advertisement-supported YouTube channel, an individual must obtain a permit and pay a fee. Before..."
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard, man. Imagine you having to get a permit to go to the park and take a picture. Like what? And they really trying to fine you thousands of dollars for that. What goofy is gonna pay? Man, what's the penalty if you don't pay it? And no, that makes no sense. And I can't believe they're really tracking people down. They lurking on YouTube, Instagram, and all of these several just to see if they got a glimpse of a national park. And then they write to the person like, hey, did you have a permit to film in this park at that time? Oh, you didn't. Well, hey, you owe us some money for that. As if they own. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. You can't own outside, man.
Filming a protest on the National Mall. Tourists must obtain a permit and pay a fee if they have any inkling that they might later make money from this footage on social media. And when the filming is spontaneous, these individuals will be criminally liable and face up to 6 months in prison, even though they could not have possibly obtained a permit ahead of time. By stripping public forum protections from filming, my colleagues for the first time have disaggregated speech creation and dissemination, thus degrading First Amendment protection for filming, photography, and other activities essential to free expression in today's world. The speech creation and dissemination, these individuals will be criminally liable and face up to 6 months in prison, even though they could not have possibly obtained a permit ahead of time.
So they are willing to waste tax citizens. They talk about prisons being overcrowded. What is putting a photographer or a videographer or a citizen in jail for recording in a national park? What is that doing to help society and move society forward? How is that a benefit to society? How is that not a hindrance by having now you got more bodies and more people in prison, and they're in prison for filming and taking videos in the national park and sharing it Why would you make that? Why would that be an option? Why would somebody get 6 months in prison for taking pictures? Why would they even let that happen? As many I'm not there are way more severe things going on in this world that would require somebody to be sent to prison. You don't just send people to prison to send them to prison. No, you have to. It needs to be something like really worth it. But I know recording in the national park would never be. Could you imagine a photographer or a videographer in prison with gang members and murderers, and they ask, well, what you in here for, man? I was taking pictures at the national park, and I didn't get a permit, and so they gave me 6 months. That's terrible, man.
By stripping public forum protections from filming, my colleagues for the first time have disaggregated speech creation.
And the thing is, the trolls are for that. The trolls think that's okay. The trolls will say, yeah, you deserve to be locked up for recording in public. Yeah, you like, come on, man. Come on.
And dissemination, thus degrading First Amendment protection for filming, photography, and other activities essential to free expression in today's world. The permit regime applies to an extraordinarily broad group of people, ranging from large-scale filming operations to small documentary crews and individuals who take short videos on their phones. Although large commercial filming projects may well involve operations that burden park resources and disturb visitors, the government provides no reason to think that individuals and small groups interfere meaningfully with these interests. Again, the whole basis for the permit is interrupting park operations, and so it doesn't make sense for small groups and individuals, even if they're operating a camera for commercial purposes, to have a permit because they're not burdening park resources.
Now, I just want to say, it's, for one, jail and prison are different. They said 6 months in prison for taking pictures in public and not getting a permit. In prison. They didn't say you go to jail. They say they sending you to prison. That's what?
Or disturbing visitors, they're typically indistinguishable from other park visitors and should have the same rights that they have. And yeah, things happen spontaneously.
Because he is helping to guard this wonderful heritage of ours for our children today and their children tomorrow, Ranger Nolan is making a mighty important and necessary contribution to the security and strength of our nation.
By attempting to collect fines on the murdered First Amendment.
There's an old saying that you can find a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Well, Alex Nolan, forest ranger, has found his treasure here.
No lie.
This is not only a bad decision and a bad policy and a bad quote-unquote law, but it's one that has been updated in the age of YouTube, with the judges supposedly, I guess, being aware of this technology.
But obviously not, though, because there's multiple issues with this. I don't even know how they can prove. I mean, there's all kinds of licensing of images you can get. You can get footage that other people have filmed. There's all kinds of stuff going on with archive footage out there that's in the public domain. There's just all kinds of stuff. How can they even know just by watching a YouTube video that every single clip in there you personally filmed? They can't. There's a burden of proof there that's completely missing.
Who says I'm guilty of anything? Where's your proof?
Yeah, it's a due process problem. Finding it.
It's so, like I said, it's so much resources need to be wasted to track somebody down, and you're not even tracking somebody, like, so much wasted just to track down somebody who took a picture and posted it on social media. Like, come on. Why wouldn't you use those type of resources for something real? Something, that's actually helpful.
After the fact on YouTube
doesn't mean anything.
It's in violation of constitutional due process, and it's just backwards. It's a backwards enforcement, especially in a no harm done situation.
I got to looking at the people, and especially at their cars. Dad said,
There's many as 70 million of us jump in our cars in the summer and just go places.
When you see groups of people in these parks, everybody is filming. Everybody is standing in a throng filming. This is just a way to further cut down on who can film, when they can film, what they can share. Actually, that's probably the biggest part of it. And also to make money off the backs of people through some licensing scheme. It's bull.
You know, some people pointed out that, like, well, they haven't really banned filming. You can go through the process of the permitting, and here's what I did, and you're just being like this. But the overarching public sentiment that I saw on comments on YouTube is people are very upset about this. Partially, it's confusing exactly what the rules are, but also it's outrageous to put the burden of a permitting and fee structure on people visiting the park who are also already paying fees to go to parks that they already fund as a taxpayer. But that's a side issue.
Plus, without a big
Exactly.
production
It's so
team,
crazy.
we just didn't have the bandwidth to go through a major permitting process every time we wanted to make a video.
Plus, they want to know exactly where you're going to be when you film. And when you're in a park, you're all over the place. You go on different trails. You do all kinds of different stuff. You might walk off into the woods just for a moment. You can't know every single GPS location of exactly where you're going to be. Like this exact tree, I am going to film this exact tree and then this exact tree over here. Like that doesn't even make any sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and the whole point is, you know, you go down the marked trail, but then you see something you didn't expect to see. Maybe it's a rare animal, maybe it's a mountain, maybe it's a certain overlook, you know.
Then suddenly you want to film that. Oh, you didn't add that to the permit. Sorry, you're not licensed to film that tree. You're only licensed to film these 2 trees that you told us 6 weeks ago you were going to film, but you can't film that 3rd tree over there. And if we find out you did after the fact, you get a $1,000 fine. Makes sense.
You know, this couple explained that it took like 3 weeks to get the permit approved, which was too far in advance to facilitate their upcoming road trip. I don't know the exact schedule, but, you know, that's a long way out. They were going to be at this park they wanted to film out already, and they're on a road trip.
Yeah, so what happens if you're going down the road and you see another park that you didn't even know was there? Because this has happened to us. I can't even tell you how many times. You don't even know it exists until you drive by the sign for it. Too bad. You can't film there. You're going to get fined.
Yeah, so it's not reasonable. That's the point.
It's completely unreasonable. It's insane.
But this is very routine for us. We'll set out somewhere in particular in New Mexico or something to a park we have heard of. And along the way, there's all these, not all of them are at parks, but some of them are. It's like, I never heard of that park. What is that? Look it up. Oh, we should go there. That looks good.
No, we should go there. That looks good. No, go ahead and fill out that form for the license. We'll wait 6 weeks and come back.
People on YouTube are hopping mad about this. And I'm telling you, this is a community of people that are not really that political. They're interested in photography and nature, and they're freaked out.
That this is the
enforce
level?
This kind of stuff. When I look at the Twitter files and the kind of like secret government agent stuff they were doing against people who dared to talk about controversial issues happening in our world, which is completely compatible and really the point of the First Amendment, it is in a way even more chilling to see something not controversial and not frankly timely or political also to be subject to a similar type of censorship and weird online trolling and enforcement. Even for the smallest crew of 1 or 2 people in a regular car going to national parks, they're already incurring significant cost just in traveling to the park, just the mileage alone.
The fees to get in.
You know, and yeah, you got to pay a fee to get in. I mean, it's nice to have the park pass, but
it's really
expensive. Not free, and taxpayers already fund it. And monetization, I mean, in my view, is only fair for someone who might be providing content that might be valuable to an audience. They had to go there. It wasn't free for them to go there. They're probably not even going to make their money back. I doubt it. But the viewers themselves, it's a service to good old American viewers and tourists from around the world who are interested in these parks. They probably would like to go there someday, but at the moment, they don't have the money to go there. They're too poor, they're too busy, or maybe they're too old, too frail, and they can't really get outdoors, but they want to see this stuff. I mean, I've seen comments of people fitting into these categories. You know, they want insights from people who've gotten to go there, and they want to see it through their eyes. And that's not always compatible with an official park travel video or brochure. It's absurd.
I think that I mean, we know that we watch videos places we maybe want to visit and we want to see what it's like. I think almost everybody does that. You know, this makes no sense. It makes no sense to what are they hiding in national parks, and why are they trying to rob people and charge people to be outside and to record themselves being outside? Why are they charging for that? Is, it's absolutely disgusting. And when this is brought up in city meetings, or like when this stuff is brought up to a city meeting, what is the mayor and everybody in that county, what are the commissioners saying? What is everybody saying about that? Are they okay with this being in place? It's insanity.
It's absurd. And, these videos are interesting to people, and who does it hurt anyway? Such content is therefore considerably valuable to the public, not only as content that falls under free speech and the First Amendment, but really of the promotional brand of American spirit that the U.S. government itself has been deliberately pushing literally since the creation of the national park system.
That was like the whole...
Exactly. The more people that know about a place, the likely more people that are going to visit the place. They trying to get the nickel and dimes, and the pennies, when they could have more dollars. They're going after small channels that are doing it. It's like, they're shooting themselves in the foot, while they're trying to rob you. Or us, I should say.
The sort of idea of the patriotic pilgrimage to these national parks was totally a staple of 20th century American life. That's what we've all been inculcated in. And in turn, it stimulates the travel economy, auto and fuel industries, which I know they don't want to promote anymore. And it builds a legacy around what was first sold to Americans, especially through those iconic images of national parks taken by Ansel Adams himself. They use those images to draw people to the parks, to show them the majesty they can witness, and then take some snapshots themselves.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
I know.
This land is something you better sign up for a licensing permit 6 weeks in advance to possibly film a tree. And if you don't, we find out after the fact, we're going to fine you $1,000 land.
They literally created the industry of getting Americans to want to go there and pose for their family snapshots in the American park landmarks and signs, to take 8mm home footage of themselves exploring this essential landscape that enters into the American folklore, and to otherwise document the wonder and beauty that they just can't see every day living in cities and suburbs and what have you.
That's why the park is supposedly a national park in the first place, because they're protecting it so people can go there. That's supposed to be the whole point.
And besides free speech, which is so important, this idea itself of going there to see it and remember it, that is what in part has.
So I want to just stop real quick. So Patricia say this is control for the revolving money door. The thing is, this would stop the money. That's why I don't like, this is not a good money move. This is, like I said, this is like grabbing at pennies when they could make dollars. Why wouldn't you want as much free exposure to the national park as possible? Why would you censor the amount of free exposure you get and try to charge people for giving their part? They're charging people for doing the marketing for them. Like, that's what's going on. They're charging people to do the marketing for them, instead of just letting the free marketing bring them more dollars. So they're charging people for the marketing. So you're gonna have less people willing to market for you, which means you're gonna have less people coming to the park. It's a backwards business wise. It doesn't make any sense to me. So all I can think of is it's for control, or somebody. It's either for control, somebody hiding something, or people just plain out stupid. Oh, my bad, y'all. Let me go back to it. You know, you don't know which one it is. No matter which option it is, it's not a good option. It's not a good. It's not a good reason. Not good nothing.
Define what it is to live like an American in the 20th century and beyond. This trend of people wanting to go there and experience it and remember it and show it to their friends and family or their audience on YouTube, this is a trend that should be treasured by the U.S. National Park Service.
It promotes people to want to go there. Like, it actually promotes people. They don't want people to go anywhere anymore. They just want people to stay home and look at it on a screen that's, I guess, approved by them. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, but instead, the Park Service and other government agencies, they've taken on this attitude of control, and policing has slowly taken over. And honestly, the parks are amazing, but sometimes, especially at the most popular parks, rangers have this attitude like you're a burden just for showing up, and entering the park isn't like, hey, I finally got here. It's like, what are you here to do? Almost like it's a quasi-interrogation or something.
I felt that.
Instead of supporting the myth of the place with your presence, your admission fee, and the time and energy you took to go there, and the associated commerce that trailed in the wake of your vacation caravan, they treat you like that. And the whole attitude has shifted. It just all seems backwards.
It's not like, I mean, there are tons of archive films out there of home movie footage of people taking their families and going to these parks. You can get them dated all the way back to like the 30s and 20s films of this, right? And it's just the feeling of that time. By comparison to now, when they act like you're a jerk for even showing up at all, and it's like a border crossing or something to go into one of these parks. To be treated that way, it's a really surreal feeling. But going to a place and seeing it for yourself is really so different from just hearing about it or watching the government approved little video they have of that place.
Frank, I want you to know that I really appreciate how you tried. I see that you did. Bringing me out here, again, making a weekend of it. I remember it, the way that it was, the fresh air, and the times that we had. Really, it's sweet. Half Dome will always be unforgettable. But it's not like before. It's just never going to be like before. And you know that. But it means a lot that you tried. That you tried to sustain that illusion for us. And if it helps you to live in the bubble of what we had, I understand. There really was a time once, Frank. And we'll always have that.
As far as like trolling social media, having government agents go on YouTube to find people who might be in violation they could find and get money out of, just because video is on a site is not the same as proving that it was filmed without a permit or at a time when you shouldn't have for whatever reason. By a specific
person.
Where's the due process? Finding a video on YouTube, that's not due process.
Y'all, this is random as, man. How much more random can you get? You got government agents scrolling on Instagram trying to find footage that from a national park. And anybody who has that footage on their page, they're trying to find them for it. When everything on that could have been reposted thousands and thousands of times away from the source. It is a waste of resources having somebody trying to research that. Absolutely crazy.
Process. after the fact, I don't see why they would even want to enforce like this. You know, a content producer is and should be perfectly within their rights to the fair use of material that they filmed or that was filmed elsewhere or licensed or donated by a different camera person. Other clips may have been filmed at an earlier time before the statutes of limitations.
But what about free speech?
Well, the permit's reasonable, but there's still fair use. Clerk, that's 17 U.S. Code 107. Limitations on exclusive rights. So you could make a montage of short clips from someone else's footage, or license someone else's footage, commercial or not commercial. Doesn't matter much. Just scroll social media, you'll find all you need. But never music, because reasons.
So I'll literally have more rights to use someone else's footage than the footage I went and filmed myself?
And just because it's a misdemeanor and they want to issue a citation doesn't mean they followed any kind of due process. In fact, it's highly questionable, the process that they're going through here. And when they do flag a video, if and when, it's a de facto violation. They're flagging people, and then they're getting information about that channel from social media. Who is it? What's their address? Then they're sending them a citation for a de facto violation. You know, this has stirred up a whole thing online, which again is separate from all the controversy about political speech. But it's reminiscent, though, that you have government agents trolling free speech.
So first things first, I'll say this. I totally screwed up and I flew my drone in a national preserve. And I admit that's very wrong to do. And as a drone pilot, you should not do that. And I take full responsibility for my actions on that and paid the consequences, literally. But I did it and it happened. And
you should be able to take pictures of outside. There should be no bans or no permit necessary. There should be no problem. You should not have to answer to anybody or talk to anybody about taking pictures outside. I don't, what sense, and especially for a tax-funded place. So the national park you're paying for with your taxes already, they want you to pay when you get there. So you paying twice. Then they want you to pay again just to get some memories. Like, come on now. Come on. I don't know what this guy's apologizing, or it sounds like he's saying I messed up by, being normal and not thinking I was doing anything wrong, because truly he's not doing anything wrong. Flying a drone and taking pictures is, come on. You're outside. If anybody, you taking pictures of a place that you paying for, how are they gonna tax you on top? You getting taxed 3 times. They taxing you for the park, they taxing you to go to the park, and they taxing you for creating memories after you paid all that to enter the park. And not talking about the gas money to get to the park, the camping equipment that you got to pay for if you're gonna like really do some outdoor stuff in the park. It's crazy.
I put on YouTube. Year and a half later, someone finds it. I guess they tipped off whoever it is that handles these kind of things. And I got this citation overnighted to me with some screenshots of different parts of the video, namely parts where I'm operating the drone in the National Preserve. Self-incriminated myself. Anyways, I have a clip here where I am calling the park ranger, the chief park ranger, asking about the citation. Do I need to take the YouTube video down?
It's freedom of speech, right? Like, you can post what you want, but the problem is it's technically posting a criminal activity, and it could potentially get flagged again, and so then it would come down to, in a court scenario, you've already been cited for this offense, and so I just don't know, like, there's going to be a burden of when did this actually.
So folks just brought to my attention. Not they taxing you another. They taxing you. they taking your taxes to pay for the park, and you got to pay for entry, and they're gonna tax the cost of the entry. You got to pay more taxes on top of that, and then they tax in so many different ways, and they still trying to tax you more. Come on, man. Come on. How much are you trying to squeeze out the people? Just come on, man. Come on.
Occur, it's posting, so it could cause future complications.
Because of what happened just before the commercial, I'd like to apologize to all blind people and children.
And furthermore, people who filmed for non-commercial purposes at their family outings or what have you, they may have filmed unusual events. They may have seen rare animals and took out their camera. And then after the fact, it becomes content, and maybe that content's monetized. How do you get a permit for that in advance? I don't see how that process could possibly work. Spontaneous filming is also part of free speech, of course. Moreover, YouTube and other social media platforms, they reserve the right to monetize content even if you choose not to, or even if your attempt to monetize is denied by them for whatever reason. So you have no control, really, if it's going to be monetized or not.
This is really, the level that we're at is hard to believe. It really is.
Suppose that I aggregate all parks content across an entire platform, and then use metadata to target ads to the entirety of park-specific site traffic. But I never filmed any park content myself.
That would make you social media, in which case you wouldn't need a permit. But as a mere content creator, you'll need to pay the fine.
If the only evidence of, quote, commercial filming is the fact that it exists on social media, that's like no evidence at all.
It isn't.
Showing footage obtained in violation of a policy or civil code is not in any way the same thing as actually filming footage under these circumstances.
There's no need to continue this trial. The evidence against the prisoner is overwhelming. I ask now that he be sentenced immediately. I want to see those statements. Maybe I'll have a few words to say in my own defense. Prisoner will step back into the box.
Their demonstration of the footage is not the violation of that policy. And again, it's a due process problem for sure.
How does the government find your address or contact you directly from your YouTube channel after they find that footage?
I know that I get informational tips from like the ISBs or like special investigator units, and I don't know if they have someone that just sits there and investigates computer crime, because we don't have time to do this here.
I couldn't imagine me getting a text message from a government agent talking about a picture I took a year ago outside, you know, because I didn't have a permit. Like, what? No way I'm buying that. That got I would not take that serious at all. How could you take that serious? There's no way they can prove that you took the photo unless you did like a selfie shot or something like that. But if you just showing the footage of, everything else, just because you put the footage up there, they don't know that you took that footage. The only way that they could know is if you say that I took that photo. I didn't know it was they have to trick you into this. Is so underhanded. They got to trick you through this whole process to make you liable for the BS. So it's so much. This is so twisted and it's crazy.
So we actually go out and do real patrols, like on the road. So because I get flagged so many different things, and I just forward it to the rangers and say investigate what you can. Or if one of them stumbled across it, or somebody that works here, because I get those too. Says, look what I found on Facebook, whatever XYZ, and
so they got people looking on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all dedicated to find clips and videos of people in a national park recording it. Come on. Is that what our tax dollars going to?
all I do is I forward these on.
You can take my word for it, he has.
However interconnected it might be, it's a bad flow for enforcement based upon false assumptions, bad due process, and it's against the rights, but also the spirit of the people.
I think she has something to say about places and people that millions ought to see and think about.
So, I can film in the park without a permit and post on social media?
Yes, as long as you don't monetize even a penny.
It's something that millions of people feel right here, even though they may not say much about it.
But I can share it?
Anywhere you like, as long as your content is entirely allergic to money.
Oh, sounds fair.
Why, I just suddenly realized that this is the only place in this world today where I can find the things I want to talk about. This is a wonderful place for a vacation, sure, but more than that.
And the most concerning part, naturally, is the chilling of free speech. The idea that so many people in these comments are like, I'm not even going to go to the parks anymore. I'm going to film, but I'm going to never post my footage. Well, you're a good photographer. People want to see that stuff. Why? That's more of a crime to not show your beautiful photography than to keep it because you didn't have a permit in advance when you filmed it, you know?
So if you're at a national park and you see Bigfoot, you can't pull your phone out and film that and put it on your YouTube channel because they will come after you. They'll say that you did not get a permit to film that.
Not to worry. I have a permit. This just says I can do what I want.
And you should have had a license for that, and then they'll fine you for putting it up. That's basically you can't do that. That's not allowed.
Yeah, a lot of people have surmised that must be the reason that they want to keep all this footage away. It's not just the famous little spots with Old Faithful, the geyser, and certain famous waterfalls. It's just huge portions of the land of our country. It's insane. It's insane how many places this theoretically applies to. And the story becomes about how the relevant park authorities or other associated government agents who found the video online, how they tracked it down in cases where citations were issued. Where did they get that information?
Listen to how confounded and like crazy that sounded. All these processes just to violate us. No, man, this is beyond, you know, this is the steps that if the people don't stand up and say something about tyrannical things like this, they're going to keep pushing it and try to keep pushing it. Like, this is already way too far. Like, they're actually sending people to scope out social media for clips of trees and leaves. And not only, and they're taking it serious. So if you did it and you don't want to pay, or you trying to if you standing up for yourself, they're saying that you can be criminally charged and be thrown in prison for 6 months. Come on, man. You don't think we should make space for people who may have murdered somebody, you know, may have y'all know the most heinous crimes. You don't think we should make space for people who committed the most heinous crimes for prison instead of photographers who, you know, come on, man. Bird watcher, you got bird watchers next to murderers. Come on, man. Come on. How would a judge even feel comfortable sentencing somebody to 6 months for that? Like, who feels comfortable even going through social media, and who has that job? Like, who has that job where, hey, what we want you to do is go scope out and see who has maybe a glimpse of a tree that's in this park right here. You know, if they got, go ahead and shake them down, send them a message asking them if they had a permit to. Come on, man. Who is taking these jobs? Who is okay with this? What type of people? What type of person are you to agree to that? Like, come on. All right, man. Appreciate it. Crazy. Yeah. Very.
In that. I don't know, but I think they're going to lose a lot of legal battles if they try to enforce this stuff. And there are lawyers waiting to sue over this specific issue, and they should. This should be rolled back. Leave little people alone.
These are supposed to be our parks, right? Isn't that what they tell you? Come enjoy your parks.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
protecting them for you to come.
You know, there will be this will affect our channel quite a bit. I don't think we will be going to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park or any national park as often as we used to. And that's just because
Now the
we're going to be
partner messed
traveling
up
to
their
other
money.
places
They had
that
the
we
reg.
can.
They had regulars at
And
their park.
but I'm still going to hike. I'm still going to ride our bikes through Kate's Cove. We just won't
People
show you.
sharing memories on lines with other people interconnected everywhere. It's the modern way of life. And sharing such footage is a natural, almost automatic extension of what we are and what we've become. So why exactly should that stop at park borders? And what do they not want to be seen
Well, I
anyway?
appreciate
Yeah,
you.
maybe it's
Thank you.
Bigfoot. How do the landscapes of our parks not belong to everyone? I mean, really.
It's an image control problem. They want to control the image.
careful.
If they lock this down to where
careful.
only approved licensed people are allowed to film and talk about these parks, you could see where they're going to control what you're allowed to see and know about those things through that process. Why is it bad to feed the animals? Eating human food is not healthy for wildlife because their bodies don't adjust well to the salt, fat, and preservatives found in our food. They gain weight, lose their hair, and become dependent on human food. So why is it good for us?
Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Sure.
Please recycle.
Looking forward to the coming decades of technological mediation of nearly all human life, the proliferation of AI systems, the imitation of nature, and the reproduction of the images of nature collected by data harvesting computer systems and what have you, while at the same time making wildlife lands increasingly difficult to access under environmental policies or use of a vehicle policies or travel policies. You know, we've seen signs that say no humans here. You know, you might start to wonder if one authorized view of each famous landmark and national park place isn't somehow coming. Maybe not one picture, but one sort of way of seeing it, one perspective. After all, being at a place, traveling there, seeing it in its context and all its dimensions is so very different than just seeing footage and pictures of it, even when that footage is amazingly beautiful and inspiring.
It really does smack of that idea. You could see a future where going to these places is mostly online. They want it to be only a certain allowed view of reality, and then those people get amplified and everyone can see reality through the eyes of those particular chosen people. It's picking winners and losers, but with the actual image of reality and what you're allowed to know about that reality. One narrow slit.
And before long, we won't have any common sense about anything, including the way things are just in nature.
We won't know where the hell we are at all.
To experience nature, to glimpse perception into deeper aspects of your life outside of these growing urban areas, where else can you go? And why shouldn't you be able to go there and perform Shakespeare in front of your cameras, or film a butterfly, or, look for deer or something? Why? What is the problem?
It's freedom of speech, right?
I mean, I remember when it was just those little areas in the park.
Yeah,
This is your
freedom of
First Amendment area. How are they even really putting up a sign here and acting like that's enforceable?
It's kind of a weird sign. To me, that means they push people away before from other areas.
I guess this is your free speech area. This is where you have the right to talk.
Could you imagine that?
Nowhere else. Now here we are with this, and it just feels to me like every time we obey another one of these obviously encroaching rules and then try to justify it, like those people saying, oh, it's not a big deal. We just try to justify and work it in. If this is allowed to stick, once it does stick, it won't end here. There's always going to be some more corrupt crap. They'll build on top of this corrupt crap. It's already in the pipeline, probably just waiting in the wings. Like
that's the biggest thing. If this flies, if this flies, then what's stopping them from, taking it to the next level? Now it's not national parks. Now it's like what they're doing with every government building. Now you can't film government buildings. You can't. Nothing in public is free. You can't take pictures outside no more. You got to have a permit to take pictures outside. And if you post some pictures outside, we don't even care if you didn't take those pictures. We're pursuing you for those. We're pursuing you for that. And if you don't pay us, if you don't pay, or else we'll lock you up, with murderers and all of these other criminals because you ain't pay up. And it's really, it's terrible. And it doesn't make any sense business wise either. So that's the fact that it doesn't make sense business wise. It's just stupid all around. Because there's no way that you're going to get more money from finding and trying to get people who took pictures in national park versus the free marketing that you would have got for letting them continue to film. There's no way that their fines and the penalties that they trying to get people to make is going to make up for what they could have made if they would just let people film freely. There's no way. So it just doesn't make sense. That's why it has to be something else going on besides this. And I think it's a more so a power move and a control move to see how far can we push it? What are these people going to accept from us? What else can we tax? This is a step to see how far they can take it and how much they can take from us.
Like, oh, they took that. Let's add this to it and this to it. And it's just one more brick and another until you have a wall. And it only takes 4 walls, a floor, and a roof to build a cage, to build a box around everyone.
So next, if you had a hover-round power chair, the Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon, it's all possible with a hover-round.
Francesca, still haven't heard from you. So this will be my final letter. I'm going off to get lost in one of America's famous national parks. Some say thousands of people have vanished without a trace in these parks, never to be found. There's even a documentary about it. So what's one more, Francesca? What's one more?
Right.
I'll always love you.
All right, y'all. So that's it. I just wanted this stream to be strictly about, the First Amendment, and I just don't understand the people who are against it. The only time that I feel like people are against it is when they have something to hide, or they just want complete control and dominance over another human being. And anybody who is like that is something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Yeah, man, it's crazy. They probably took her. It's crazy. What is it about recording that people? Why do they want to police? I guess if they attack the First Amendment, they feel like if they can attack the first one, then everyone after that is free game. So they'll try to attack the first one, then they'll try to attack the second one. Then the main ones that they don't like is the first one, the second one, the fourth one. But see, that's the thing about it, Mitch. They will profit way. That's why it's not smart, because they will profit way more from the free marketing than they would trying to attack. That's trying to tax, every individual person who took a picture. Like, come on. There's no way you could track that down. There's no way that you could really work that out. And you're making it to where people don't even want to go. And like, it's not smart. If they were doing it for money, then this is not a money move. This is not a money move. This is a power and control. This is a power and control move, I think, only. This can't be about money, because they will make more money not doing this. So that's why I don't think it's about the money. I can't. I have to rule the money out of this situation. At first, you think it's a money grab, like, oh, they trying to get at people. I think that's them trying to trick you to you to think it's about money. So it's partially about money, but it's partially the main part of it is control. Because if they really wanted money, then they would boost the free marketing that they get in and make more money that way, versus doing this is making people not want to go there. Exactly. Right. Exactly, folks. And that's why they're trying to attack it so strong. They feel like if they can get that first one to fall, then if they can get the First Amendment to fall and be null and void, they've cracked it. They've won. That's why I believe they go for the First Amendment so strongly. And they don't want us exercising it or being, they don't even want you being aware of your rights, which is crazy. Right. Exactly. They want you to just put your head down, go along, get along, be just a battery in the machine and till you die, and then they just use up, you know, every, like, it's terrible, man. Right. But all right, y'all. Like I said, I just wanted to, just simply talk about the First Amendment, and I just wonder how people and it's some people that's for this. They're for being taxed, and they'll say, well, why you don't just get a permit? If blah, just get the permit. Like those type of people I cannot deal with. Can I will not go back and forth with those type of people in the comment section, anything like that. No, sir. I'm not. People living in insanity want you to go. They want you to join them in their chaos and insanity, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be the one. They're not going to disrupt my peace when I know that they are in chaos. No, it's not going to work. They're never going to get to me. It's never going to happen. But I appreciate all y'all for joining me. Hashtag stop muting body cam footage. I can't believe that our First Amendment is being attacked like this. So I need to think of another hashtag that goes with the First Amendment. But again, thank you for everybody joining me. I'll be back soon. Take a break for right now. AWB, I'm out. Appreciate y'all.